Hi everyone, my name's Tori. Bear with me, I'm speaking into a microphone, so I don't know if it's going to be really loud or not. But I chose to do my report on Manneristic architecture. And so, firstly, Mannerism occurs between the High Renaissance period and the Baroque era, beginning in the early 15th century and ending in the very beginning of the 16th century. Mannerism is best represented in the beautiful country of Italy. The two most influential architects of that time are Michelangelo and Giuliano Romano. I'm going to start with Michelangelo, and yes, if you were wondering, that is his full name. I'm not going to pronounce it because, yeah, I would butcher it pretty bad. But Michelangelo was born in Caprice, Italy in 1475 and died in Rome, Italy in 1564. He is most famous for his paintings and sculptures, and most people don't know that he was actually an architect, and a pretty good one too. He was a rule breaker in the architectural community, and during his time, they wrote about him saying that he departed a great deal from the kind of architecture regulated by proportion, rule, and order. Two of his most well-known architectural structures are the Medici Tomb at San Lorenzo and the Laurentine Library. The first structure I'll be discussing is the Medici Tomb. We have all seen this in our Zoom calls and everything, and this structure is located in the Medici Chapel in San Lorenzo, Florence, Italy. Michelangelo was daring and designed for the shock value. On the tomb, the proportions are not by rule. As stated by my architectural professor, Dr. White, the plasters are not of any known order and have sunken panels in their faces, creating a recession that suggests a void where a plaster should suggest a solid. The lower edge of the curved pediment has been broken and the missing piece shoved up into the body, distorting the proportions. A tabernacle is supposed to be a void carved out to hold a statue. This one is filled in with the solid panel. All might not look strange to us, but this was very audacious during his time. Secondly, is the Laurentine Library, which is located in Florence, Italy as well. This library is often mentioned as a prototype of Mannerism in architecture. Michelangelo didn't actually get to see this project out. He left plans and detailed instructions as to how the structures should be completed, and was then later finished by three other architects who had studied under Michelangelo, who interpreted to the best of their ability how he wanted it finished. The Laurentine Library, just like the tomb, is ornamented a great deal, but mostly because they built new walls on pre-existing walls. I don't know if you can really tell, but there are walls behind those other walls. He did a very good job at hiding them, I think. The excessive ornamentation was structurally necessary. Features like window panels and columns were recessed into the walls to help reduce the mass and weight of the walls. I don't know if you can really tell. You can tell better in the staircase picture. There's the columns that look pushed back into the walls, and that was done on purpose. In the library, there is a staircase that is leading into the reading room. The reading room's to the left, obviously. That consists of one flight of stairs with a step out that then divides into three separate flights. I don't know if you can tell. These photos aren't that good, I apologize, but that middle step is actually two steps with a landing right there. The two outer flights have flat, straight steps, and the middle flight combines round and flat steps to create this unique design. The staircase at the time was beyond anything anyone could imagine. People were so shocked about its unique structure, and many criticized it. They thought it was gaudy and didn't belong. But we see these staircases all the time now, especially in like neoclassicalism and very government type buildings. They're in there a lot. Moving on now to Giuliano Romano, who much like Michelangelo, was a rule breaker. He is described as even more chaotic than Michelangelo. He was born in 1499 in Rome, Italy, and died in 1546 in Mantua, Italy. He too was a painter and a sculptor, and it is quite the trend we see in these past few centuries of men being more than one type of artist. It's very fascinating to me to see that them take on so many professions. I think if I were alive during that time, before cell phones and internet, I probably would have taken up multiple hobbies and professions to keep myself busy. They had a lot of time on their hands. But anyways, Giulio's most famous architectural structure is the Palazzo del T, which is located in Mantua, Italy, and was created for Federico Gonzaga II. Not like the palazzo that we're used to on the strip. A palazzo means a large, patio urban building. This palazzo is more of a villa, like a weekend getaway house, for lack of better words. It was used for partying, not really intended for long stays. This palazzo was lavishly decorated inside and out. Something Giulio was known for was not only the architectural design, but the interior decoration of his buildings, which in those days largely consisted of paintings and frescoes on the walls and ceilings. He painted multiple frescoes in the rooms of the villa, one of them being called the Room of the Giants, which I will show you now. All of the frescoes he painted in this villa were from mythology. This one makes the room look like it's collapsing and going to crush you, like the Roman gods in the painting. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little door down kind of by the T and the H, and I don't know the exact height of it, but I'm guessing it's probably similar to a regular door way of these days. But if that's the case, then this is absolutely ginormous. It's gigantic, no pun intended. But I was gonna go back to the villa and say that it is surrounded by a garden which flows inside to the courtyard. The structure itself looks like a big square with a courtyard in the middle, surrounded by arches and columns. What makes this structure so outrageous is that most of the columns are not structural; they are for decoration. That's what makes Mannerism so different and special, because a lot of design done during this time was decorative, not structural. You can't really tell because of this picture, but on the inside there are more columns around that aren't really even holding up anything. They're like recessed into the walls, but only for decoration, not structural purpose. But that brings me to my conclusion. So, what is Mannerism? Well, Mannerism comes from the word manavria. I'm not saying that right. I'm so sorry. But it is an Italian word which refers to personal style. The term was derived from mano, the Spanish word meaning hand, which, because style was considered inseparable from the person's touch or hand of the artist. So, Mannerism, as seen through Michelangelo and Giulio, is personal, it is playful, and it contradicts all traditional proportions. But what makes it so unique, that is what makes it so unique. I apologize. We see a lot of Manneristic architecture in modern society today, not the orders and structure, but the playfulness and independence to create, not for structural purposes, but more for the aesthetic. But that concludes my presentation. I hope you learned something today and that it was enjoyable. And thank you very much for sitting with me and bearing through. I hope this wasn't painful to listen to. But here's my works cited. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. And thank you.